Greetings YouTube, Joe here with Cullination Media, and welcome back to another episode of The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. This is episode number 46, and we begin this episode in Gerudo's Valley. And we have a couple of things that we need to do before we actually head into the fortress area. And that is claiming a couple of golden Skulltulas. So of course you want to make sure that it's nighttime. First of all, go over to the left over here, and he's on this pillar somewhere. Well, I guess he's not going to be there now because the rooster just crowed to signal daytime. So after the rooster crows, you won't be able to find the golden Skulltulas. Play the sun song if that does happen. And after the wolf noise, you will be able to see the golden Skulltula again. He's just hanging out on the back of this pillar here. And you can kill him with the long shot, of course. And oh, that was weird. My camera's freaking out. And we can grab it with the long shot as well. There we go. That was lots of fun. Alright. The next golden Skulltula that we need to get is literally directly across from the one that we just got. And he's just hanging out on the wall behind the tent over here. And there's nothing special that you need to do in order to get him. You can just go over and kill him with a bow, or the hook shot, or the long shot, or whatever you have at this point, and claim the token. Well, that's all we need to do here. We can't do anything with the carpenter. We also can't do anything inside the tent, or at least I don't want to do anything inside the tent. Nah, there's nothing important in there anyway. So, we're going to move on into the Gerudo's Fortress. So, continue on down the path, and here we are, Gerudo's Fortress. It is a huge area here with a bunch of just like weaving in and out platforms and doorways and rooms, and it kind of serves as like a prison area where they hold a lot of male prisoners that they find, because the Gerudo is an interesting race of all women. Only one male is born every 100 years in the Gerudo race, and as we'll learn a little bit later on, that male just happens to be Ganondorf. So what you need to do is go get caught by one of these ladies, and they're going to throw you into the dungeon, so to speak, which is just like this stone prison area. Stupid kid, get in there and keep quiet. Well, we normally don't make a lot of noise considering Link doesn't talk, and there's one way out of here. You're going to get your long shot out, and you can see there's a hole in the top of the ceiling, but we don't want to do that. We want to go for the wooden panel here because we can hook shot up to it, and it takes us into the window area, and now you can kind of oversee the rest of the fortress, or at least most of it. What you want to do is drop down onto this platform here. You have to be a little bit careful not to drop all the way down to the bottom. And our objective here is going to be freeing the carpenter's workers, but also avoiding these Gerudo guards. So you can stun them like so with the long shot or the hook shot, and it just turns them blue briefly. But the best way to maneuver around them is to shoot them with the bow. You cannot kill them, but you can knock them out with the bow for a brief amount of time. And if they do catch you, unfortunately, you will be thrown back into the same prison that we started out in. And it's regardless of where you get caught in the fortress. It doesn't matter where. You always go back to the same place, so you have to find your way back to wherever you were, and it gets kind of iffy. Anyway, I just wanted to show you this area. This is not a necessary area, but there's a cool purple rupee there that gives you 50 rupees, and you can jump back in to the prison area where we were before. So that's only if you need rupees. If you don't worry about it. Otherwise, it's just a waste of time. So, now what do we want to do? We want to knock out this guard in particular because she's the one that will have the best chance of seeing us. Shoot her with the bow, and then we can jump down pretty safely. They have to be relatively close to you in order to be able to spot you, so the rest of the guards we don't have to worry about. So in this room, it looks to be another prisoner cell. Hey you, young man over there! And it's one of the carpenter guys, so we need to talk to him. I have no idea where you come from, but you must have a lot of guts to make it past all the guards around here. I made it past like one, dude. Chillax. All of my fellow carpenters are imprisoned somewhere in here. Well, that sucks. I guess that's why I'm here. If you can get us out of here, we'll repay the favor somehow. But be careful, there's sure to be Gerudo guards somewhere around here. ... Woo! Watch out! And, oh, somebody jumped down from the ceiling. It looks to be a Gerudo guard. Gerudo Thief. When she drops her guard, attack. If you don't defeat her, you'll be captured. So we need to make sure that we win. Otherwise, it'll be back to the prison with us. So we need to be able to defeat her in order to open the cage for the prisoner's cell there. That attack will also capture you, and I may end up falling prey to that a little bit later on. We'll see. Anyway, this fight is much like fighting a Stalfos. She does have twin blades, and these Gerudo pirates are much faster than Stalfos, but the tactic is pretty much the same. You need to wait for an opening in her defenses in order to be able to get a shot in. I suggest using the Bigoron sword or using jump slashes. Either way, once you defeat her, you get a small key, and then you can open the prison cell. We were really interested in joining their all-female group, but they locked us up like this just because we were men. We don't care about the Gerudo anymore. They're so rude. They really are. They just attack you with swords. 3 of my fellows have also been captured, so please help them escape too. So there's going to be a total of 4 carpenters that we need to save. That was the first one. We've got 3 more to go, and that's what we're going to be doing in this episode. I decided to do this first before heading to the Shadow Temple. If you've been following this guide walkthrough thingamajiggy, you can go right to the Shadow Temple. All you have to do is play the Nocturne of Shadow at this point, and you'll be good to go. Be careful when going around the corner here, as there is a Gerudo guard that can see you that comes around the corner in the far room, or I guess the far hallway, but I saw her just walk by, so I decided to just take my chances. Your bow is definitely your best friend in this entire area, as in a lot of cases, your bow can reach them when they can't see you, and that just makes a world of difference. So, we're going to go into this area here, and there's another prisoner cell. So, that means that there's going to be another Gerudo Thief battle. Obviously, if you haven't noticed or guessed a pattern up to this point, there will be a fight between you and a Gerudo Thief before you can rescue each prisoner. And all of the carpenter people that we have to save, they all say the exact same thing. I don't understand why, but they all just verbatim repeat the same exact phrases when you talk to them, and the same exact phrase triggers every single fight. So I'm not even going to bother reading it. Alright, back into another fight here. And that is the attack that will send you back to the prison. Doesn't matter how much health you have, you're caught if you get hit by that little jumping attack. Now we have to navigate our way back there. Alright, let's redo this. Once you enter the room, again, after being caught, the Gerudo Thief, or the Gerudo Pirate, I like to call them pirates, that sounds cooler, they'll just fall down from the ceiling and the battle will begin. You don't have to talk to the carpenter again. They do have full health, though. The battle does start all over again. So, you do need to be a little bit agile in order to dodge that little jumping move that they have. I recommend either just doing backflips or strafing, with a side jump out of the way. Just guarding is not a good idea because that move will break through your defenses. It goes right through your shield, or right around your shield, I don't know which, but either way, you're going to get hit by it, and you're going to be screwed in a bad way. Anyway, we defeated that Gerudo pirate. You can always hit these crates here, or open up these jars for some supplies if you need them, but I'm not really in the need of any supplies except for maybe some arrows. But, oh well. I can't wait until I get the biggest quiver. That should be soon. Hoping maybe next episode. We'll see. Alright, let's talk to this guy. You're a cute kid. Thank you for coming to save me. I'm Jiro, the carpenter. These women are so scary. I'd rather work as a carpenter than join them. So true. They are pretty mean. I can't wait to say goodbye to this place. 2 of my buddies are still being held prisoner, though. And he's going to ask you to try to help save them. And of course that's what we're going to do, because we can't move any farther along in our quest if we don't save them anyway. So you're going to follow him up the ramp. And yeah, by the way, I do suggest that you follow which directions I'm going here, because it's very easy to get lost in this place. So when you go out into the clearing, you can go through the other door, and you'll come into this area that's kind of tricky to navigate with the two Gerudo pirates down below that can both spot you, even from an area where you can shoot them with a bow. But I suggest just long-shotting across. You can long-shot on the wooden rafters and long-shot pretty much to the door. Okay, so when you come outside once again, you can jump up onto this platform right here and jump across to the right. Oh, I almost missed that. That could have been bad. If you do fall down, that kind of sucks, because you will have to navigate your way inside in order to get back up to the higher levels again. And I've done that quite a few times before, and it's pretty annoying, especially because it's my own fault. Okay, so there is a golden Skulltula up here, and I just remembered that, so I'm going to play Sun Song really fast, and it'll warp us back to our last entrance, which thankfully I didn't go that far, but see, he's on the left there, kind of in between the platforms. So I should have done that at the beginning, but that's okay. At least I remember that it was there. A lot of times, I remember the first couple of times I played through the game, it just happened to be day when I was going through this part, and I just didn't even know it was there. But if you don't care about the golden Skulltulas, I guess it doesn't matter either way. Oh well. We're going to climb back up the vines, and we can head back over there. There is a treasure chest over here with an item that I would love to get. There's a couple of ways to get it. If you have the long shot, you can simply long shot over to the treasure chest if you stand in the corner of this platform. But an easier way to do it, perhaps, is, and also if you just have the hook shot, you can play the Scarecrow's song, and that's why Navi was turning green over there, and you can long shot over to the Scarecrow. Pierre. That's the coolest name for a Scarecrow ever. The French Scarecrow. And you can head on over to the treasure chest to obtain a lovely heart piece. And with that, we've completed another heart container. In a couple of episodes, I am going to be heart container hunting, and we're going to finish up with the rest of the heart containers of the game and get all of our heart containers, except for 2, because we have 2 temples left to complete that will give us the last 2 heart containers. But as for now, we're still missing a couple of carpenters. So from this platform, you want to just jump straight down, and that's pretty much the only way to get to this platform. You have to jump to it from a higher platform. There's no door that leads out this way, and that's where I would always get stuck. I'd never know how to get in this area, because it's just literally a door kind of floating in the middle of nowhere. You want to be careful with this Gerudo pirate, as she can see you, and she stops in really weird places. But you can shoot her from around the corner like so, and obviously the left is a dead end. And if you continue to move right, that is also a dead end. So just follow the hallway, and it will lead you to another dead end, but this dead end happens to be a prisoner's cell, so it's a good thing we came in here. And now it's time to listen to the infamous phrase that they all say: I have no idea where you come from, blah blah blah, all of my fellow carpenters are in prison somewhere in here. If you can get us out of here, we'll repay the favor somehow. They really don't repay the favor at all. The only thing they do is repair their bridge in Gerudo Valley, and that really doesn't do anything for you, because you can cross the bridge anyway with Epona or just the long shot. You don't need the bridge to be repaired whatsoever. You can get around it pretty much any other way. So, another thing that I haven't mentioned in this fight with the Gerudo pirates, ouch, just got owned, dang, mid-air slash. It is a good idea to use arrows when you are far away. It also will break up their spinny attack thing, like so. And it's good to inflict some long-range damage, because they can't hit you from far away. The longest range attack that they have is that little jumpy attack thing. And the more damage you can inflict when you do actually get a jump slash on, there's a better chance that you can knock him out. Have you seen our boss boy? He's probably worried about me. I have to get back to him immediately. One more of our workers is still a prisoner. Please save him. Why do all of these manly carpenters skip around everywhere? And how do they know how to get out of here? So many questions, so few answers. I really want to know why they skip everywhere. They're supposed to be carpenters. Being a carpenter is a stereotypically, like, male job, I would say, and not that women can't be carpenters. I'm sure there are plenty of women carpenters that are better than men, but still, it's like a testosterone-filled occupation, and these guys are just skipping around like little schoolgirls. What the hell? Arg. Okay, so from this room, when you go back out into the clearing, you can just jump straight downwards. Don't worry about those vines over there. You're going to want to go right in the door that's right in front of you, pretty much. And I got turned around a little bit there. Whoops. My bad. Follow the ramp down, and this is going to be the last fight and the last prisoner that we have to save. So I did that relatively quickly. If you follow those steps, you can complete this whole thing in less than 20 minutes. So, and that's with me getting caught, too. It would have been more like 15 or 16 minutes had I not been caught that one time from that stupid jump attack thingy. That's not going to happen again. I'm going to own this pirate. This is the last Gerudo pirate that we have to fight in the entire game, actually. And it's kind of disappointing because they're pretty fun to fight. It usually turns into a pretty acrobatic and skill-laden fight. Yeah, I just said skill-laden. That was the worst time to use that spinny attack. Yeah, you had no chance. You didn't even hit me that time. And that's going to be our last small key. And we'll save this last carpenter who's just jumping around for joy. I was afraid you were going to forget about me. Now I'm free, thanks. I'm Shiro the carpenter. For rescuing me, I'll tell you something interesting about the desert that I overheard the Gerudos talking about. Okay, gossip time. Woohoo. They said in order to cross the haunted wasteland, you'll need the Eye of Truth. The Colossus is on the far side of the wasteland. The Colossus is where the temple is, by the way. Okay, now I'm going back to my tent near Gerudo Valley, so drop by sometime. You may find something helpful there. Bye! Actually, you're not going to find something helpful there. The only thing you're going to find is that the bridge is completed, and that's it. And that's not nearly enough. Oh, another pirate. I've seen your fine work. To get past the guards here, you must have good thieving skills. I guess. I used to think that all men besides the great Ganondorf were useless. But now that I've seen you, I don't think so anymore. Well, I've changed your mind. That's all that I needed to hear. The exalted Naburu, our leader, put me in charge of this fortress. Naburu is the second in command to the great Ganondorf, king of the Gerudo Thieves. Her headquarters are in the Spirit Temple, which is at the end of the desert. Say, you must want to become one of us, eh? Alright then. You're in from now on. I didn't even ask to be a part of your group. All I did was try to kill a couple of your thieves. Take this. With it, you will have free access to the other parts of the desert and their fortress, blah, blah, blah. You obtain the Gerudo's membership card. You can get into the Gerudo's training ground, into their hideout thingamajiggy. And that'll be important because there's a weapon in there that we don't necessarily need, but I want to get because it's pretty cool. So I'm going to show you how to do that a little bit later on. You'll find the Spirit Temple where the exalted Naburu lives out there in the desert, and now we have access to it. And we also will not be bothered by the guards, so we can roam around freely. And we're one of the Gerudo now. We don't have to worry about getting caught, becoming a prisoner, or any of that stuff. But that's going to be the end of this episode, guys. Thank you very much for watching. And in the next episode, we're probably going to begin our journey across the desert to the Desert Colossus. Stay tuned for episode number 47. Game on.